Half-Shell Oyster House offers award-winning cuisine and service. Named TripAdvisor Best Top 10 Small Chains in the United States. Voted Best Seafood in Mississippi Magazine 8 times. You can enjoy award-winning oysters and seafood, delicious steaks, pastas, sandwiches, salads, and so much more in a unique, polished, casual dining experience. Half-Shell Oyster House is located at 115 Laurel Park Cove, Suite 105, Flowood, Mississippi 39232. Or you can give them a call at 769-257-7586. And hey, tell them Sonia sent you.
She say sports. She say sports. She say sports. She say sports.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Sonia, and welcome back to She Say Sports. Each year in the month of October, I bring awareness to two causes that are affecting women in our society today. One is breast cancer, and the other is domestic abuse. I fluctuate each year to make sure I give voice to each cause because one is no greater than the other. But today we will be discussing breast cancer and how we can detect early signs of it. I have a very special guest with me today. She's an 11-year cancer thriver. I like that, thriver. She's not just surviving, she's thriving. Please welcome Cassandra Duckworth. Hey, Cassandra, how are you today?
Hey, Sonia, I'm good. How are you?
I am doing well. You look beautiful.
Thank you, you too.
Okay, I like your hair. So, Cassandra, before we get started, tell the listeners a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, my name is Cassandra Ducksworth. I am originally from Heidelberg, Mississippi. I currently reside in Baton Rouge. Before I moved to Baton Rouge, I was living in Jackson, Mississippi. I'm a graduate of Jackson State University. I'm 39 years old, no kids, just me, and I'm just out here thriving, making the best of what I do in Baton Rouge.
I love it. So where's Heidelberg? I've heard of it before, but where is that located?
Ooh, the country. So it's it's you know where Meridian is, and you know where Laurel is.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would say it's between Meridian and Hattiesburg. I would put it best that way. So it's on I-59.
Okay, yeah.
Between Hattiesburg and Meridian.
When you said Hattiesburg, because I've seen it, but I couldn't picture it in my head. I got you. Okay. All right. Well, let's get into it, Cassandra. So tell us how your breast cancer fight began.
Well, I actually found the tumor on my own. And it wasn't through like a self-breast exam or anything like that. It was kind of on accident. I was getting ready for work one morning. I had just came from vacation. I went to the Essence Fest. I came from vacation and I was putting on lotion. And so I was rubbing over my breast area and I felt like this hard lump. So to me, I was like, this is not normal. So at the time I was working at Farm Bureau. So immediately that day I made an appointment with the clinic there. So I went to the clinic and was getting an exam, and the doctor, she really couldn't tell or just say what she, like it would have been just a normal cyst or something like that. Right. So she had to send me to a local hospital to have a test done. I had to get a mammogram, my first ever mammogram. I was 27 at the time, my first mammogram. They gave me the results that day, and the mammogram was inclusive. So they did an ultrasound, and it was inclusive as well. So the hospital that she sent me to, they wanted to do more tests, but instead she decided to send me to an actual breast specialist who specializes, he's a surgeon who specializes in breast cancer surgery and breast health. So she wanted to immediately send me there. So in my mind at that time, I'm like, she thinks it's more than what it is because of the results that I had gotten, back. It was inclusive, so they really couldn't tell. So I think that was on a Wednesday that I had all that done. And by that Friday, I went to see the breast surgeon, and I had to get that first day, he just kind of talked to me about things or what it could possibly be. And so that Monday, I had another appointment with him and we did a biopsy. And so what the biopsy is, they go in and they take a sample of the cyst or whatever that I had found and run it to the lab to determine if it is cancer or not. Right. And he said it was going to take a couple of days. And he'll call me. And actually he called me the following day. Wow. And the results had came back in and it was breast cancer.
What stage was this in?
I was stage 2. And the reasoning behind my staging, because they have all different type of criteria to determine. And the reason behind my staging was because of the size of the tumor. And I had one lymph node that was involved that had cancer in it. So, wow. Mm-hmm.
And explain to the listeners how serious it is when it gets into your lymph node.
Well, with it being in the lymph nodes, because you have lymph nodes throughout your entire body.
Right.
And with your lymph nodes, it's supposed to pass all your lymphatic fluid throughout to help prevent infection and disease. So with it traveling through my lymph system, it could possibly spread to other places.
Exactly. So like you said, you were 27, you had just come off vacation from Essence Fest, you're kicking it. You shouldn't have to deal with that at such an early age. No one should have to deal with cancer ever, but especially in their 20s. How were you able to cope when you found this information out? Who was the first person you told?
Well, that night that I got the call from the breast surgeon, my mom was there. So we had our moment. Yeah. And I'm kind of getting emotional thinking about it right now because she was with me that whole weekend. Going to the appointments with me. And so she was the very first person. And so she was on the couch and I was actually in the kitchen cooking during the time he called me. And so she was on the couch and she started crying. But she really wasn't crying about herself. She was crying about my dad. Because I guess they had this offside conversation.
Stop.
And I always get emotional with that part because my dad is a man of so many words, and I'm like his baby. So and so I guess they had like this side conversation that I didn't know about. And the first thing she said was like, I don't know how I'm gonna say. She didn't know how she was gonna tell him because she said he didn't know how he was gonna make it if something was to happen to me. So that just. And at that moment, I think that's when I went to fight or flight mode. So I was trying to comfort her at that time because she was going to have to call my dad. And then here I was, the first person I actually called. I called my pastor and first lady. And so they prayed over me. And then I called my friends because that was a whole nother.
Yeah, that was a different animal.
Yeah, to tell them. And we're all so young. So we're not.
Right.
About cancer.
We're not thinking about that type of stuff.
We're not thinking about that type of stuff. So I had to deal with them and tell them, and they were all upset. And so it was just a whole big deal. But it was like, I think I instantly went into fight or flight, like, I can't let this get me down. So
yeah, that's awesome. And positivity and being around positive people and vibes truly helps the healing process. Music, the Bible, however, I don't, and I believe you're a Christian because you just said it, Pastor. So, the word is very important. And like you said, surrounding yourself around positive people. My cousin, she's a 3-time breast cancer survivor. And she said the first question she asked God was, why me? And he told her, she said he told her, why not you? Did you ever ask God that question? And if you did he answer, or did you?
I don't ever think I just asked why
Mm,
to a sense, but I guess you could say I kind of did, but this is like kind of like because I was during that time like a type of person who I always wanted control,
mhm.
try to control every situation in my life. And to me, in a sense, I was in a place where I had no control, and I could only depend on God to help me through that whole ordeal and to keep me as sane as I could be, because it was nothing I can do about it. It was cancer, it's here. So you're either gonna have to go through it, whatever the treatment is, whatever, the route you have to take. And that was just it. It was
Wow.
just one way to look at it, just looking forward. I can't do anything about this. I can't take
Yeah,
this out myself or anything. So
yeah, that's true. So so what was the treatment that you took? How did you go about with your treatment?
well, after the surgeon determined my staging and everything, he set me up with an oncologist. So they kind of get together to determine the best route for my staging and like the particular type of cancer, breast cancer it was, because I was what is called HER2 positive. And most people are like pro-estrogen and estrogen positive, but mine was negative, but I was HER2 positive. So he told me that was in a sense a good thing because of the type of treatment plan that I had to take. I did have to do chemotherapy. I did 6 rounds of chemotherapy. And one decision they kind of left up to me was whether or not I wanted to do a lumpectomy or double mastectomy or mastectomy. Because my surgeon, with him and him being progressive and care, he was just like, you can just do the lumpectomy and she'll be fine. And then my oncologist, she's female, along with the doctor who initially sent me to my breast surgeon, they were kind of like thinking just a mastectomy. Well, just, just a bilateral mastectomy because in that one breast. So they kind of left it up to me, and I decided to just go ahead and get the double mastectomy for both.
Okay.
So, in my mind, I'm like, I'm doing one, so I might as well do the the other.
And I can get new ones.
Yeah. So, kind of reduce my chances of recurrence or having to go through this again in another breast and stuff like that. And to be, I guess, in a vain sense, to be proportion and a symmetry
Right.
where they both
Absolutely.
look alike.
You're still a woman. You're still a
Yeah,
woman.
right.
Right. Absolutely. So you just had a birthday not too long ago. You turned 39. Happy birthday again.
Thank
Such a
you.
blessing that you're still here. What would you tell women in their early 20s? Because and I'll tell you this, I was 21. I was at Jackson State and I found a lump in my breast. I think I was in the shower, and had a biopsy, and it was the size of a golf ball. And at that time, they didn't know whether it was cancerous at the time, but when the information came back, praise God, it was not. But I've been getting mammograms since the age of 21.
Okay.
And my doctors told me I have lumpy breasts, but I still go get them checked every year because I have to make sure, and I've had 3 biopsies because some have been so big that they were like, we just got to make sure. But again, it was benign. So what would you tell someone in their early 20s,
In their early 20s, to definitely do your self-breast exam, because that's one thing I say. I mean, I actually was not doing them as I should.
Lotion.
Yeah. So I would say, especially do your self-breast exams like they say do. And also, if you have a family history, to speak with your doctor about trying to get more testing done sooner, especially mammograms. And the thing was with me, my dad's sisters, both his sisters actually had breast cancer, and it was at a young age. So they were like in their 20s too. But you never
Okay.
just think it's gonna jump over to me, or
Right.
like if I had a gene or something that I'm carrying,
Mm.
that it could possibly be me. And this
Right.
one thing that we talk about, because I just finished training to be a angel advocate with the Tiger Lily Foundation, and it's one thing we talk about is how we have to advocate for ourselves. Because to me, it seems like, you know how you answer all those questions when you
Mhm.
go to the doctor about your family history. And
Right.
each time I would tell, my doctors, I had a history of breast cancer in my family, and the ages of, these two aunts that had breast cancer, but nobody really just spoke to me about, hey, maybe you should start getting mammograms early, or just being more aware and cautious in doing exams, which I should have known I should have been doing on my own. But
Right.
you know, just to tell you and put you in a direction like, hey, just to get some extra care in that area.
So are your two aunts, are they still with us?
One is, and one passed. She was about 50, I believe,
And it
when
was
she
from breast
passed.
cancer?
It was breast cancer. Hers kept recurring throughout the years.
Wow. And what age do they suggest that that women, I'm sorry, or men, that women should start getting mammograms?
I think it's at 40
Yeah, I
still.
think it's 40 still.
It's 40,
But
yes.
I think because of, and let me ask you this, did your doctor say anything about certain foods you eat? Because I know my cousin and a friend, another three-time breast cancer survivor, they said that sugar is a problem
Sugar is a
for
problem for everything,
if for
all
anything,
disease.
right? But I think
It
it
is.
accelerates the
It,
go
the
ahead.
growth of
Yeah.
things in
Mhm.
disease. So yeah, that's the one thing they like in material they talk about, like how you should be eating better, which we know we should be all around.
Right.
But
True.
just to help it.
That's true. So before moving from Mississippi, you were the state leader for the Young Survivor Coalition and was also a part of a photo project entitled The Beauty of Cancer. Could you please elaborate on both of those and how you got involved?
YSC, or the Young Survivor Coalition, is one of the first breast cancer organizations I discovered. I kind of like Googling, because the only thing really out there at that time, that was 11 years ago, you see American Cancer Society, you see Susan G. Komen, but
Mhm.
I never really had a category for myself. So I discovered YSC from social media or something I was Googling,
Okay.
like little boards, just to kind of get connected with other breast cancer survivors, who are going in like my same age range.
Right.
And so with the Young Survival Coalition, it's basically a coalition where they empower and to advocate for young people under 40 with breast cancer.
Okay.
Um, and so, and we kind of, when I say talk about advocating beyond like being like a nationally known presence, or like having like a big following or anything, what we try to say is how we can just use our own voice. And it's something in Tiger Lily we discussed about the power of one, and how you don't have to have necessarily have this big platform, but just to discuss and talk with just a few, your friends, your
Right.
family. Because I found like after I had breast cancer, it was like I was the go-to person anyway for people. Like people would come, like my aunt, discovered she had this, like what kind of stuff you went through. And I never minded speaking about it.
Right.
And so I decided to let's start getting different organizations so that I can, reach more people and to just learn more information as I go along.
Absolutely. And if you just reach one person,
Just
if your
one.
show just reaches one person, it can help somebody. And that's, I appreciate you for using your voice, because I mean, I know it's painful to talk about sometimes, especially at the beginning, but it's a lot of people who need to know this information. And shockingly, a lot of people still don't know.
They don't.
That's amazing to me. In 2020, you participated in the Baddies Up social media campaign and the Naked Truth photo project from for the breast of us. How was that experience for you, and how important are these causes to young ladies who are learning about breast cancer or who are experiencing it like at the beginning?
Okay. Well, with For the Breast of Us, that's a great organization for me because they are catering to Black women and other women of color who don't necessarily have the same, how can I say it, the same type of, because there are so many disparities in healthcare and education all around with Black people, women of color.
Right.
So it's an organization, for us to help us navigate ourselves, throughout, because there are a lot of things that we don't know, or we don't know to ask or how to get help. And then when we go to these doctors, they just run down stuff, and
Yeah,
they don't take us as serious as they would another person.
that's true. Now that is true. So the photo, tell me about that. Were you taking pictures of your
With the Naked Truth photo shoot, it was kind of like they allowed us to take as far as our comfortability of what
okay.
we wanted
So
to
it
display.
depend on the
It
person.
depended on you, like,
Okay.
yeah. And the book is actually, they did an actual book of it, and it has been dispersed throughout the US and many physicians' offices displaying, these Black women and women of color in their scars, because you go to a plastic surgeon like I did when I had to get breast reconstruction, and you don't see many pictures of women of color with the reconstruction done and how everything will look for us.
That's awesome. That's great. So I remember, I think it was a couple months ago, you ended up, did you do a TikTok or something? But you got a lot of followers like overnight. Tell me what happened with that. You got, I don't know, you had like 10,000 followers, and you was like, oh my, you. And I saw it, I was like, I need to talk to
It was my birthday. I think it was my birthday. My birthday on Instagram, and I guess I did a little dance or something, and I guess people liked it.
Girl, I thought it was my birthday. So,
I don't think it wasn't
your
my
birthday.
birthday.
It was your birthday. That's true.
It was my birthday.
Oh, they just okay, I got to check it out. Yeah, I remember you talking about it on Facebook, and I was like, and I thought it was dealing with that. Okay.
It wasn't dealing with, it was just for my birthday.
Right.
And I was acting out of the norm.
Hey, you're thriving. That's a part of thriving.
Exactly. So, I was just being silly that day.
And that's a good thing. We got to do it sometimes. We got to do it sometimes. Cassandra, you mentioned earlier that you just finished training to be an angel advocate. Tell us what that actually is, and what does it mean for you to be an angel advocate?
To be an angel advocate is just a way for me to get my voice out there more. We have been in training to learn about, breast cancer and the different types of treatment, and learning about all these testing and genetic testing, and how we could help with different types of testing that come about to make sure that as being a woman of color, like, we are in the conversation. With being an angel advocate, we have advocates who trained to go speak with I'm getting
No, you're fine. You're fine.
to
So speak
train
at different
just to speak at different events, to get
Mhm.
like if I wanted to get with my physician and have an event, or if they wanted me to come and talk and speak with someone. I also getting like on a more political level where we go to conferences and
Okay.
speaking with lawmakers about changes that we see that need to be made within the health system to help women with breast cancer and other cancers.
Awesome. So is this just in Louisiana or it's nationwide?
It's nationwide.
Okay.
So Tiger Lily was founded by actual breast cancer survivor. I think Maima is maybe 14 years. I know she's more years out than I am.
Okay.
And they actually have a big following, a big platform. And so just based on what I've seen, they had me to do a few little things. So I was like, because I've been wanting to do more, but
Yeah.
just didn't know kind of how on my own. So I've gotten with them. I decided to like, I might as well go ahead and get this training in that I need so that I can be more, efficient in what I want to do. And when I talk to people, and they'll provide resources as well. If I wanted to have like an event on my own, if I wanted to come to Jackson and do something, or my hometown and do something, they'll provide me with resources, or they might even come out themselves. So to help that.
That's awesome. That is really good. Cassandra, why is it important for you to share your story?
To me, it's important because when people initially think about cancer, they always go to the death.
Exactly.
And so with me, especially being as many years out as I am, and people are so shocked, they're like, 11 years? Like, how old were you? They're like, yeah, I was 27 years old.
Yeah.
So it's important to see that there's life on the other side of just going through the treatment and just trying to survive. So that's why I say I thrive. I do more. I just, and my mom said I'm always on the go. So I'm just, living and surviving. So I'm just thriving, just being and doing what I kind of being free and what I want to do, because I've been through this thing. I mean, this traumatic experience. And I feel that I owe it to myself as I have progressed, because it has been mentally challenging. And so as I progress, and I feel like, I need to live life more and do more. So that's what I do.
Absolutely. And, just like you were saying earlier, you trust in God. Trusting him is also living and
living. So you have to put action behind that faith.
Exactly. And that's what you're doing. And speaking of that, before I let you go, we're both Jackson State Tiger girls. And, we had our homecoming this past weekend. Were you at the game?
I was at the game.
How was your homecoming experience this week?
I had a good homecoming. I enjoyed myself. I always try to do, especially since the pandemic and last year. Last year was just a blast. I don't think another homecoming will top my last year. It might be hard for that, but I did have a good time.
Right. And, of course, we won, our homecoming. We won. It was a challenge. It was not easy for us to do, but we did. And this weekend we play the place where you live, Southern Jaguars, whatever. Hate them. I don't hate anybody, but I really love that school. That's our biggest rival. So, there is not any like between each of us. However, we're also going to be on College Game Day, which is huge.
Yes,
ESPN. So I will be at the stadium.
You're going to be there?
6 a.m. Are you going? Are you coming for the game?
trying to be a responsible adult,
I
and I'm
understand.
gonna make it.
Very good. Very good.
I just have to watch it on social media.
That's
and,
okay. That's okay.
you know, from a
We
distance.
got you.
But I will enjoy Baton Rouge. It should be peaceful this weekend because nobody's gonna be here.
Because everybody is here.
Everybody's
Exactly.
gonna be in Jackson.
Now that's one thing I can say about now Jackson State and Southern fans will travel.
Oh yes.
We travel and they come to Jackson. I think now they come on Sundays and Mondays, and you know the RVs.
Yeah.
They still, they come early.
They
So
come early.
it's going to be very interesting. I'm excited about the game. You know, I'm excited. So, but Cassandra, thank you so much for joining me today. It has been
Thank
a
you for
honor
having
and
me.
pleasure. Absolutely. But before I let you go, can you tell the listeners how they can follow you on social media, as well as and you know, tell them about different organizations they can contact if they need to get mammograms, because free mammograms, a lot of people don't know that they actually give free mammograms. I had a friend who was not working, and she actually, I told her about, this was in 2013, about free mammograms, and she was in stage 1. So I'm thankful that she went, because she's still here with me. I talk to her once a week. So tell the listeners how they can follow you, as well as certain organizations that can give them that help.
Okay. You can follow me on Instagram at I am Sandra D. That's the letter M, SANDRAD. And also follow me on TikTok. I'm not on there as much as Instagram, but on TikTok, I am Sandra D blog. So it's I am SANDRAD BLOG. Two organizations that I think people should follow. One being the Tiger Lily Foundation, and their handle is Tiger Lily Foundation.
Is that one word or two words? TIGERLILLY.
LIY. It's one word. So Tiger Lily Foundation, and also For the Breast of Us, and they both provide great resources as far as events and as far as organizations that help with mammograms and help go around and doing self-breast exam. Well, not self-breast exam, but come around with like the mobile breast mammogram features. So if you follow either of those two organizations, they will definitely point you in the right direction of getting some great resources.
Awesome, awesome. And guys, you can follow me at She Say Sports on Facebook, She Say Sports 23 on Instagram, at She Say 23 on Twitter, and please subscribe to our YouTube page. Well, guys, that's our show for today. Until next time, this is Sonia with She Say Sports.
Bye.